Well, well, well. I like how it's coming. I like coming at the music.
And the moon and the planets are there. And new hopes for knowledge and peace are
So I
there.
want to get this Christian,
And therefore,
and it was
as
a
we
different
set
beat to
sail,
it.
we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Coaching Beyond with Coach Sagasta, and guess who's in the house?
Vegas Pat.
That's right. That's right. What's going down? So, yo, man, I was so excited when my man Pat told me he was coming down. He's up in Vegas, which is an hour and a half away from where we're at today. And literally, like, you know, he has family that's here. He's originally from here, but like he lives in Vegas now. And so, you know, when he was down visiting family, I was like, hey, man, can you do me a favor? Like, swing by, man. I want you to swing by because I want you to give like just quick testimony, exactly what's been happening in your life and how the information has changed the situation. Hey, how we doing? You know, how things are changing in your life, you know, and I mean, you started this path, what, 8 months ago?
Yeah, about 8 months ago.
About 8 months ago, Pat's been taking information and changing his life. And, you know, I think one of the most exceptional thing that a lot of people don't understand is like when you start applying, you know, it's kind of like I said the other day, and I was telling Pat before we got on, was like some of the most basic things like can be so enriched and you can use them for your life. And I was explaining this to Pat a while ago when I went to have breakfast with Stephen Graver that stopped by yesterday. Is like, you know, the antidote is like what I said the other morning. The antidote was information. The antidote I found out had to be knowledge, and it had to be applied knowledge. It just wasn't like half the truth of a lot of people here is knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And you know, and when Pat, literally, I'll give you what Pat told me one day, and we were chalking it up here shortly, but like, you know, it was like one day he called me and, you know, he's like, wait a minute. He's like, you're not just drinking energy and you don't have that kind of energy because I don't have that kind of energy. So what is it that you have that gives you that? And so I told Pat, I was like, look, man, I've been reading this and I've been doing this. And so I shared with him. I had to, just like I do with you guys every single morning, you know? And so I love the fact that, you know, he got at me. I remember distinctly kind of like Shane the Train when he got at me. But I remember distinctly I was going to take a nap here for about 30 minutes, shut my eyes and re-energize. And we just started connecting. I already, boom, as soon as we started connecting, we started talking about books and about different information. I became just rejuvenated again. It was just new energy. So I'm going to let Pat go ahead and explain, man, like how has it been? How long, you know, we say it's about 8 months roughly, but how has your transformation been since it was 8 months prior?
You know, it's been a big blessing. I spent most of my life just, you know, like on an elevator. You know, you're high and then you're low. Like you're positive and you come home and you're always mad or you're angry, negativity, or you work with a lot of negativity people, and you just spend a lot of your time like trying to like fix yourself. If you don't know how, you don't know how. I mean, you're trying all sources, and you know, you learn from this guy, you talk to this guy, you watch a TV or whatever it is from the past. But it's like I've been trying my whole life to just figure out like my path in life, what I should be doing, and just being around positive people. And that's why when I hooked up with Frank, you know, you see a lot of people start this journey and they end it, so you really don't get much information from them. But when I seen Frank just so positive and consistent, it just clicked in my head like something's going on. You know, something's going on. That's why I got a hold of him. Like what are you doing, man? What's going on? Tell me. So, you know, he told me to start here. You know, start step one with this book, and then get back out with me and just, you know, watch these live views and just, and it went from there. And it's just been a huge blessing in my life.
Now, like back in the day, like what would you say? What were like looking? I showed Pat the accountable board, and for those that don't know, I actually put it away. But the accountability board was very basic. It was very elementary. It was, you know, I basically drew it up one day in my office, and you know, it's kind of funny, but like it was just on my heart though, and I had to display it, so I drew it up on a whiteboard. I found a whiteboard, and it's funny, but when I wrote all over it, I didn't write over it I didn't write on the board with an actual erasing. No, it was a Sharpie. It wasn't the expo, you know, as you get erased. No, it was an actual permanent mark because I didn't want that board ever disappearing from my site because it reminded me that I once was a victim, but now I'm accountable for my actions and where I'm at today. So I ask you, Pat, like, what were you at looking at that board now that you've seen it? Where were you sitting? What were some of your biggest things on that in that sector where I was showing you, like, where did you fit at? Because, you know, you had the sector of like being a victim, you had the sector of putting the blame on people, or was it laziness, or was it procrastination? I mean, what area were you really affected by prior to your growth and your transformation today?
I just feel like, I think playing the victim is probably number one. And, you know, back then, you know, I didn't even know that I was playing the victim. But you learn it, like growing up, you learn it from your parents. And I don't even know if they knew that. But, you know, I come from a broken home. My parents divorced when I was probably like 4. My mom moved me out here from Chicago, and my dad and my brother stayed there. But my parents were very hard workers. But at home, there was no knowledge. Like, it was just all loving, but no knowledge. You know, nothing about faith, nothing about school education. It was just, you just learn how to work, or a lot of times, or just be the victim. You know, back then, my mom in the 80s, single mom, there was no help for her, you know, like it is today for single moms. You know, it was pretty much nothing. I remember her walking to like a car wash to work, but she showed me like hard work. But a lot of times she showed me how to be a victim too because of it. So in my life and the beginning of my marriage was a lot of like complaining and whining and just being the victim. And, you know, I hated it. I remember just thinking myself driving to work every day, like just hated the person I was, but, you know, being on the high and lows. And, you know, I just finally hit that button and got off that elevator. I didn't care what floor it was. I had to get off. And I'm just thankful that, you know, I'm on a good journey now.
That's right, man. That's right. Most definitely. Yeah, I think so much time, you know, the more that you spend, like Pat was saying, like the more that you absolutely spend around, you know, individuals that are very vibrant, that, you know, you always hear people talking about, you know, the law of attraction. Bob Proctor is like one of the authors of the law of attraction. And he's just really poetically just put a lot of content, a lot of information out. And, you know, when I grabbed a hold of it, it really brought something to my life. And so, you know, the affinities for me were to display the bat, like, yo, man, you know, I shared with Pat right away, like, this is what's happened in my life. Like, this is where, you know, where I was at. And this is how information and knowledge and God has definitely helped to overcome all those obstacles that I went through, even though I was carrying them for so long, like a rucksack. In the military, they got to carry these rucksacks. Some of them weighed up to 80 pounds, some of them 100 pounds. And I was carrying this thing all the time, like, yo, and it just filled with so much, you know, hatred and bigotry and envy and you name it. It was all in that pack. But like, when I found the information, when I found knowledge, when I started finding out that when I made that promise in 2015, it just like I let the sack go and just emptied it all out and then started filling it up with good information, you know. And that's truly what I think what's really helped me in my process and in my growth has absolutely just actually pushed me to want to be great in life. Like I was explaining earlier, is I you know, when I made that promise to God, to knowing my faith, my why, my faith was going to come before anything. And like, I'm glad that my wife, Sarah Sagasta, really knows that. And she's really congruent with that. And that's one thing I always express, like, there's a strong alliance there. You know, when I was on the phone with Mark Menard about, I think I told you, but like, that was one of the things that I shared with him. I was like, you know what? We have a strong unity. There's a straight bond there. Like, you know, and it's before every morning show, I'm always either on the side of her bed or she's out here reading, and there's a time of prayer, you know, because I wanted to make sure that it was absolutely tight with everything I'm doing, you know, that way, because when I'm consulting with somebody, I want to make sure that I'm 100, I'm on cloud 9 and I'm running 120, and I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be this right here behind me, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the believe that I want to believe, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you're looking at Pat and what Pat did, was absolutely transform the way he wants to live now. You know, and I think that for a lot of people, it's a choice in exactly what he did. And would you say this was probably one of the greatest choices you've ever made, Pat?
Oh, 100%.
For real?
100%. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you could admit that. I'm serious, man. I'm glad you could admit that.
Never go back. It's like, you know, it's like when you have a group of people you live or you're around, and a lot of partiers back in the day, they just want to party. And then you decide you want to go to church and better yourself, your family. You get a lot of those haters. Like, they don't want you to change.
Yeah.
They, like, I don't know if they're inferior by it or scared or what, or they just don't want you to change. So they always come at you, like, even when you're in church, the outside world's always coming at you. It's just, I was okay with that. I was just like, I don't need that. I don't need that in my life no more. So little by little, I was weeding them out. And it's not like I didn't like them. Being mean, it's just I don't want that in my life. I don't want that around my kids and my family. You just get tired of it. It's a waste of time of just partying.
Yeah, definitely.
Just doing stupid stuff, watching TV all the time.
Now, I'm going to share, because it's funny, because Pat and I we're on the same mission. Now, this is what's absolutely funny, is because for those on Periscope and on YouTube and on Facebook, when I started this journey, I started exiting out people out of my life. And so one day I remember Pat and I were on the phone, and I was like, dude, I just got rid of like 236 people or 267 people, right? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, dude, like, I exited out people I went to school with, like people I worked with. Like, I had to get them out because they were so negative. They were always posting things that were just so ignorant, literally. And I was just like, yo, Joseph, what's happening, brother? What's going on? So everybody on Facebook, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Mark, I appreciate you sharing, man. Thank you so much. We're live and raw right now in my house, and we're in the lab. I call it the lab. And this is no sugar and my coffee. You guys know how we do it, nice and raw. And Pat came down from Vegas to definitely express his testimony. Express his true love, his true passion, and where he's at today, where he was 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the greatest things, because you know what? I'm gonna put it to you straight. Stacey A. Cross, if you're on and when you see this, he's just now moved. He is just now moved out of the comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? He is just now moved, and I'm excited for him. And when he told me he was gonna stop by, I got absolute. My wife was kind of like, make sure the house is picked up, Sarah. I'm not mocking you. I'm just saying, babe, that that's kind of what you told me. So I'm just saying.
And no Philly cheesesteaks.
No, hey, Shane, I didn't make no Philly cheesesteaks, man. My bad. I wasn't all the way ready, you might say. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, I was absolutely happy that my man came and wanted to drop it down, and express, how the information is actually moved in his life, and how, putting information, the antidote to your problems, is applied information. Is applying that information each and every single day. It's a process. It's a growth. One thing I heard from E this morning, he said this morning, you got to survive, thrive, and grow. And it made so much sense to me. Like, it just absolutely made a whole lot of sense. Like, you have to survive through life. You have to thrive. It's a process. And it's all growth. Everything that you put in here and in here, it grows. And, I express that so much to people, like, yo, this is your opportunity to definitely to express it. You got 28 days to start growing, to start just maturing into the person you want to be. I told an individual today, I said, I need you to look in the mirror. I said, I need you to look in the mirror. And she said, wait a minute, why? I said, because I need you to look in your eyes and look behind that veil and tell yourself that you're going to be great for 2017. You got 28 days. You know what I'm saying? And I really wish that Pat would have been here a few hours ago, but he was with his family. But I mean, he could have been like, yo, I've done it. Coach has done it. He's done it. Grant's done it. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that can definitely say, you know what? We've done it. We've applying the information to our life, and it changes the situation of where we live and in our environment within, and we're sharing it with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Pat, like what could you say the biggest step for you was, though, right now? What would you say the biggest step was for you right now in the process, in the transformation? What was your biggest process? What was the biggest thing you had to deal with?
I would say being consistent. Being consistent is probably the number one. It's, if you're going to do it, you got to do it and go on. And, like Frank wakes up early in the morning. I mean, I can't believe he does it every day. That's amazing. That is amazing. But, I work full time. I go to school full time at night. And, I still can read books. Like, there's time. There's time to do stuff. I can't stand when people say there's not enough time, because I used to be that guy. There's tons of time. I get home. I go to work at 5 in the morning. I get home at 11:30 at night. I'll still read till like 12:30 in the morning, and then wake back up at 5. And it's just,
that's Richard. Look what he says. He says, I was 30 feet out of my comfort zone, and Frank pushed me further. because my comfort zone had grown and I did not see it. Hey, thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate that, man. Definitely. Sharing is caring, man. I appreciate you sharing that, Richard. Most definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So okay. So now, next question before we get, man. I guess what I'm looking at, like, what are you looking for 2017? I mean, you got 28 days. I mean, what can you definitely share with everybody? Like, yo, this is what I am absolutely holding on to, and this is what I'm going to achieve in 2017.
Just be successful at home. The role model for my kids is probably number one. You know, that's my why in life is my kids, like a lot of you people out there. But just to motivate at home. And then there's a lot of things in life I want to do still. You know, I want to go whitewater rafting next summer with my kids, or it could be like jumping out of an airplane with my son. He wants to do it when he's 18. I mean, just a lot of stuff I want to do. And I don't want no restrictions on if it's a weight issue or whatever it is. It's just I want to go full board and just be consistent and just do the things I want to do. I want to live life. Be responsible with it, you know. Be responsible and just grow every day. I was telling my wife the other day, there's so much knowledge out there. There's so much knowledge out there. Just, it's like, I don't know, like a kid in a Toys R Us, you know, like a library. You don't know where to go. You just want to get it all.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, I remember, like, when I was a kid, literally, here's a true story. I remember when I was a kid, when my mom did take me, when we did have the money, and she would take me like to Kmart, because back then Kmart and Sears was like the thing, like, yo, yeah, exactly, right. You were like, woo, we're going to Sears, woo, we're going to Kmart, woo. You know, I was sharing with Pat the other day because Pat used to work for Safeway, but I remember as a kid, I remember vividly like getting my first teddy bear at a Safeway on an end cap, and I'll never forget that. He looked like Teddy Ruxpin. He was like a knockoff, because, you know, Teddy Ruxpin, you had to go like Toys R Us, or you had to go to like what was the other place, Radio Shack, to get a Teddy Ruxpin. For those that don't know, Teddy Ruxpin was like a guy who used to read you a bear about this big. He'd read you, for those that don't know. But anyways, so I had the knockoff, man. You know, he didn't say nothing. He didn't do nothing. He just sat there. But nonetheless,
that was yours.
Yeah, exactly, right? But nonetheless, you know, I can remember like going into like Toys R Us and like, or Kmart, and having to go pee so bad because I got super excited. That's kind of how I am when I go to the library. Like, I got to go to the bathroom immediately because there's so much information. I just want to dive in, and like, literally, I wish I could spend hours upon hours in there, but my wife would kill me, you know? So I'm like, no, I'm in good terms with my wife, so I don't want to do that. But like, for you, when you first got your book, how did that make you feel when you first got your information?
It was amazing, because it was like a book that I desperately needed to read.
What book was it? What book was it?
The Napoleon Hill, The Grow Rich. But coming from a broken family, you know, I was trying to like gain a relationship with my dad, but he always read like detective novels, you know, so I started reading them too, because that's what he read. So it was like all during my life, I didn't really like him, but I was trying to grow a relationship with him. But when I finally accepted myself and wanted to find information for myself to go on that right path, it was like that first book did it. It was just like, these are the books I should be reading, the information I should be getting. None of that stuff, you know. I don't even know that detective novels, all that crap. But I think that's where it started right there. I just got engulfed. Like,
Go bananas, right?
Yeah,
go bananas.
What's the next book, Frank?
Exactly.
I know you got them all.
And that's right. And that's exactly what he's being honest. Like, yo, like he got at me, and we're like, okay, what's next? And so I was like, yo, check out Dr. Thomas. Check out this book. Like, this is what absolutely moved me. And you know, it was you know, greatness is upon you. And he just exposed himself even to more information. He was like, wow, this book is deep. And I'm like, I told you. Like, it's like being in there. It's like going back and getting all wet in the pants, because it's so much excitement, because there's so much information there. And it's useful, very useful information. I mean, I've read the book 3 times now, gone through Think and Grow Rich twice now. And today I just finished my 45th book. And I'm looking to finish 3 books by the end of this month, if I can do so, man. That's what, 48 books, man, at the end of this year. I so hope that I can finish these before, and I can get on 2 more and finish. Now I have 50 books in a year, and that would be phenomenal for me. As again, you know, I share with many people, like I was never a reader, barely got through high school, barely got through college, you know, but nonetheless, I mean, Jonah Alonzo, you're on. You could tell the people, you know, when I was your social studies teacher, did I not have a hard time sometimes at reading in front of the class? I hated it, man. Like, you know, but the school put me in front of it, you know. And they were like, yo, I need you to do this and this. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, definitely. Let me go. Let me run wild. And I did. I ran absolutely wild with it. And I went bananas because I was learning more stuff. And it was something that I really loved because I loved history. But I definitely, man, I appreciate Pat so much stopping by, because for those that don't know, man, Pat, now, like I shared this morning, Pat used to actually be my wife's boss at Safeway. And, I used to say hi to him from time to time because I worked across the street at the competitor store, which was Kroger. And I'm so glad that our worlds actually brought us back together. And now I can call my brother. And I really wish he could have been able to go with me. But I know that there's time in the future where we're going to do some crazy stuff, even possibly go down to San Diego as couples and go see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, these are promising things. You know what I'm saying? These are things that you speak out and you just go ahead by action and you apply it every single day. And as Pat said, it's a progress. It's a thing that you continuously do every single day. It just becomes repetition. And like I share all the time, being a sports coach was always about repetition. I wanted the guys, I wanted the girls to get better and better. So what did I do? Was practice free throws. You want to be great? This is where it's at right now. You need to practice free throws because that's where 87% to 90% of the shots are going to come from is there. Always the foul free throw line, and so it's something that you just generate in your mind, your subconscious, conscious mind. And for those people that don't know, in the hemisphere of your mind, you got your right side and you got your left side. Well, your right side is definitely that section that is always negative, and so you never want to surround yourself with negative information. You always want to surround yourself with positive things on your left side. And one of the greatest things as I did was help this man, but also him help me, because like I share with Matt Berry, I share with a lot of different people in my council, is that family, that circle, that strength, that laughter, that joy that we have. It all starts from somewhere. It all sequentially was a seed planted, and it just keeps on growing. Last question, man, and I know we got to get, but most definitely, Joseph. So I mean, looking at 2017. You want to be absolutely consistent. I memorized it now. I'm going to hold you accountable as always. But, I mean, what do you see yourself? What do you absolutely see the best goal, the most crisp and richest goal that you really want, aside from consistency, that number one vision and dream that you actually have and that you're going to apply come like tomorrow? Like you actually started like last week applying this dream. What is that dream?
I think it'd be health. Number one is health. I mean, you got to be healthy to make the full 100% of what you're doing. I think that's my biggest journey. I've been a victim of it, crying about it, but it's just I got to take the step and just get healthier. I think that's my number one thing, beside of my wife, my kids. Mm-hmm. But I just got to be that all-around role model for them. Yeah. I think that's my biggest thing right now.
Love it.
I know I can do it.
I know you can. Absolutely, each and every single day by day. Yeah. It's like day by day, every single way we get better and better till we can't be beat. We
could have started today and went hiking, but
so let me give you guys a rundown. A rundown was like, for those that don't know, but like here in Bullhead City, there's only two ways the wind blows, and it blows north or south. Yeah. And when I say it blows, like if you speak, you guys heard me when I was going live here, like when you speak the W word. You try not to use the other three syllables behind it, because if they come, that thing, somebody turns the fan on and it just blows horrendously here. And so it is so important that you don't say wind in Bullhead City like I just did, because it comes. It might not come that day, but it might come tomorrow. It's like a curse, the valley of the curse of the wind. But man, when it does, it's not like a light little breeze either. I mean, literally, you hear like your roof is about to fly off and going to the neighbor's house. You know what I'm saying? And literally, like you have modulars here that actually their roofs actually do come off. It's amazing. But nonetheless, we had a plan. We were going to go out hiking. We were going to go hit up the college and do some hiking, man. As a matter of fact, my wife woke me. She's like, "Hey, are you going to go hiking?" And I was like, "No, I think we're just going to kick it ass because it's windy outside." She's like, "Really, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my wife for you." You know what I'm saying? Really, really? Yeah, that's my significant other right there. So yeah. But nonetheless, man, I'm very happy that Pat stopped by more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Being able, I really, really would have wanted him to come with me to PA and just feel that experience like I did, and just see that that charisma, of enjoyment. But I know he shares it with me, and it was a great opportunity. And literally, for those that don't know, my brother went outside of the comfort zone back then. You know, he didn't have to, but he chose to. He made a choice. And what I mean by that, for those that are on Facebook and on YouTube and on Periscope, you know, my man went ahead and just like, you know what, let's buy the tickets right now, put it on my credit card, and you pay me when you get it. And that's exactly how it went down. So, I mean, my brother made the action, first action. And that's one of the greatest things I wanted to stress before we get out of here is, you know, he has a definite dream and he has a definite vision for being consistent. And it starts with action. And so like the action that day of paying for our tickets to go and literally, you know, just taking it out and doing it, that's exactly what I had to do. Is I had to get on the plane. Never been on a plane before, never been to the East Coast ever before. And so I had to make that action too, you know, and it was amazing. But I can tell you that when you apply action to whatever you want in life, your dream, your vision, then you'll definitely see it. And that's exactly what I was telling Christian, you know, Pat's son is like, yo, you know, no matter what it is in life, when you speak it into existence and you apply action to it, it just seems to happen. You know, it's God and the universe working hand in hand, and that unity, that bond, and it just comes to pass. You know, that's one of the things I love the most. So, man, in closing, what would you tell the people, Pat? What would you definitely tell people in closing, man? What would you share with somebody?
I just say stick with positive people. Get rid of the negativity. You know, be humble in life. Be patient. Love one another. Lend a helping hand. Volunteer. Be respectful. And just be the person you want to be. I mean,
Love it.
I'm not gonna say it's easy or hard, but I mean you can do it. I'm gonna do it.
Most definitely, man. And for everybody out there, man, you know, every single time, man, I always have to give a shout out to all of our supporters, man. Get that tea, the Shavery Ice in Boyd City, and also the Hut, man. And can't forget Dandy's Donuts, man. As he talked about getting on a diet, I gotta go hit. I was supposed to do a show inside Danny's Donuts. I was supposed to do a morning show in Danny's Donuts, and I think I might even do it either Monday or maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I gotta give it out for Danny's Donuts, man. They got the best donuts in this whole town, man. And we only have 2 donut shops here, so I mean, you know what I'm saying. So you know, they got the market right now. Straight up from Russia, awesome. Appreciate you guys, man. Definitely, that is so cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys for being on, Pat. As always, man, I love you, man. Thank you so much for being here. And this is Coach and Beyond, Pat McGuire, man, in the house, raw, throwing it down. You know what I'm saying? Throwing it down, Cali style, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Vegas style, yeah.